the sperm cell as well. All right, now we will begin the class with some question. Okay. Priyanka, today also you seem to be traveling. Huh? Okay. All right, answer these questions. We have to match column A with column B. So testis is mentioned here. What is its function? By the way, am I'm audible clearly? No, is there some noise coming from my background, from my side? No, actually, it's raining very heavily in my place. Yeah, what's the function of testis?
It produces sperm.
Produces sperm. But exactly.
Oh God.
It was a simple question. Shouldn't have taken this much of time. So testis, it produces a sperm. So for A, it's 2. Huh. Then penis, that will be transferring the sperm to the female body. So for B, it's 3. Then C, prostate gland, obviously,
produces sperm.
semen component. Okay, now. So for C, it's actually 1. Also, prostate gland makes up 1/3 of the content of the semen. Remember this? Prostate gland constitutes 1/3. Let me write here. Prostate gland. It constitutes 1/3 of the total content of the semen. Getting it? Let us suppose if there were to be 10 milliliter of semen. Let's suppose we have taken a number. So out of that 10 milliliter, 3.3 milliliter will be what? It will be the secretion of the prostate gland. It will be the prostate fluid. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Explain why the scrotum is located outside the body and its significance for sperm production. What does scrotum contain? What does it hold?
Sperms.
What? No. Indirectly, it is correct, but it basically holds the testicles in it, no? Testis in it, no? And the testis produces the sperm. So why is it outside the body?
Sir, it is because sperm, uh, for sperm to be select basically, it should be minus 1 or 2 degrees lower than uh, the temperature.
Temperature of the body.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So for the sperm
Yes, sir.
production, 2 to 3 degrees Celsius less temperature is required in comparison to the body temperature. That's why it's located outside the body. Okay, now also the muscles of the scrotum move rhythmically to it kind of basically would be moving particularly in a rhythmic manner to regulate the temperature. Getting it to regulate the temperature. So it plays a very crucial role in regulating the temperature of the testicles so that the sperm production can take place. Okay, now that's the thing. Okay, so now we are going to start with the female reproductive organ. Okay, now we are done with male reproductive organ. First of all, take a look at the important parts of the female reproductive organ. So the one which are important, we are going to be learning about in detail. I'm going to highlight. Wa alaikum salam. So we'll be learning about the vagina, the cervix, ovary, the fallopian tube, the endometrium, and there's one more structure. This thing over here, this structure, that's simply the uterus. So these are the major structures we are going to be learning about. Out of all the different structures, the most important here is ovary. Okay, now this is the most important structure because this is the basically gland which will be producing the ovum. So it produces ovum slash ova, same thing, or it's basically the egg. And this basically is the female sex cell or the female gamete. Other than that, it produces some hormones also. The ovary, we will get to know, it produces some hormones as well, which we are going to learn about. Okay. So the female reproductive system, it's providing the egg, that is basically the female gamete, for fertilization. Fertilization occurs between the sperm and the ovum, right? The sperm, as we have learned, it's provided by the testis or the testicles, and ovum, or basically the egg, is provided by the female reproductive system, particularly by the ovaries. This right here is the structure of the ovary. Look at the structure here. Okay, now, so this is a single cell structure, obviously. Inside of it, it has nucleus. The nucleus will contain the genetic material of the female parent. It will contain, the genetic material, meaning it will basically contain what? The DNA. Okay. Then obviously that is like cytoplasm in it. This is the cell membrane of it. Okay. So the main function of the ovary is to produce and release mature egg cells during the process called as ovulation. So during ovulation, ovum is basically released by ovary, and that occurs approximately once in a month in the females. So that is the primary function of the ovaries. That's the primary function of the ovary, to produce the egg, particularly produce the egg and release the mature egg cells. Okay, now, one very interesting thing about the female reproductive system, about the ovary, is that the moment a female child is birthed, ovum is already present in the ovary, but it is not mature. Getting what I'm trying to say? When a female child is born, the ovaries already contain thousands and thousands of immature eggs. Getting what I'm trying to say? It has immature eggs. It is only when they reach the age of puberty, the ovum starts to mature and it is released. It is released once in a month. Am I clear what I have just said? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, so at birth, immature ovum, that is the egg cells are already found in the ovary. Okay, so they are not ready for fertilization at that time, obviously, like they are immature. So it is only when they have attained the age of puberty, at that time the mature eggs or the ovum are released in the process called as ovulation. Another function about the ovary is the secretion of the hormone. So ovary secretes two types of hormone. How many? Ovary secretes two main hormones are secreted by this. Okay. One is the estrogen, another is the progesterone. Both of them have different functions to perform, and they are crucial for the sexual development of the female. They are crucial in menstrual cycle. They are crucial in pregnancy. Okay, now. So estrogen particularly, it plays an important role in the development of the secondary sexual characteristics in the female, like in the development of the shape of the body, in the development of the mammary glands, and it regulates the menstrual cycle in the female. What are the functions of estrogen? It's responsible for development of the secondary sexual characteristics in female. So basically, secondary sexual characteristics now, like there are two types of sexual characteristics. One is the primary sexual characteristics, another is the secondary sexual characteristics. Primary sexual characteristics basically refers to the development of the reproductive organs. It refers to the reproductive organs by which the genders can be distinguished. Okay. Also, it is observed that when the female and the male child, they're almost the same age. like they are 4 or 5 years of age almost. So at that time, by the first look, it will be, by looking at them just, it will be difficult to distinguish sometimes which one is male and which one is female, which one is a boy and which is one is a girl. But once they have attained a particular age, like they have turned 12 years, 13, 14, 15 years of age, then we are easily able to identify them, distinguish between the gender. As the boys starts to develop, huh, facial hairs, right now, hairs in the armpit, the height increases, the voice changes, muscle mass increases. Similar kind of changes are similar kind of and slightly some different changes are happening in the females. Like the mammary gland develops, so the breast develops. Then uh, the there's a development of fat and the muscles around the waist. Getting it? So there are some changes which is happening in both the boys and the girls. They are called as secondary sexual characteristics, with the help of which they are distinguishable, with the help of which they can be identified and distinguished from one another. So just like we had learned earlier about the testosterone in males, so testosterone helps in the, particularly it is responsible for bringing puberty in the males. It's responsible for development of the secondary sexual characteristics in the males now, like in the deepening of the voice, growth of beard and body hair, right? And it also helps in sperm production as well, more muscles and strong bones. So just like testosterone was responsible for bringing these changes in their body, similarly, this estrogen that is being produced by the ovary will be responsible for bringing secondary sexual characteristics in the female, such as the breast development, that is basically the development of the mammary glands, then the menstrual cycle, not not this one is different, then growth of hairs, like in the armpits, in the pubic region, etc. So that is one of the function of estrogen. Another function is that it's particularly plays an important role during menstrual cycle. Okay. So far, I suppose it should be clear to everyone. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
If there's any question, you guys can raise your hand or even you can type it in the chat box. Here, Priyanka, tell me. Uh, okay, I will explain it. Again, by the way, we haven't finished the topic yet. I suppose the topics which you have discussed so far, in that you are having difficulty. Okay, see. Basically, what I'm saying that the female reproductive system, its main function is to provide the ovum. That is the egg cell or the female gametes, the female sex cell, which will later fuse with the sperm, which will later participate in fertilization. What happens, I am saying that when the girl has reached puberty, like 12, 13, 14 years of age, so this ovary starts the production of mature egg cells. Once in a month, mature egg cell, also basically it's same referred to the ovum, is released once in a month. That is the main function of the ovary. But it does some other function also. Like it produces some hormones also, like it produces estrogen and progesterone. And hormones have some functions to do. So I was explaining about the function of hormone like estrogen. So this is responsible for development of the secondary sexual characteristics in the females, like particularly at the age of puberty, like after the age of puberty, 12, 13, 14 years of age. So there's growth of hairs in the armpits in the girls, growth of hair in the pubic region. Right now, there's a development of the mammary glands. Right now, mammary gland is basically the milk producing glands found in the mammals. Okay, now then estrogen also plays an important role in the menstrual cycle. We'll be learning about this in detail after a while. So that is the function of estrogen. Other than that, there's one more hormone that is called as progesterone. Okay, it particularly prepares the uterus. I'm talking about this structure over here, the uterus. So the progesterone hormone, it prepares the uterus for pregnancy by thickening the lining of the uterus. Look at this lining over here. This thing that you're seeing over here now, that's the wall of the uterus, internal wall of the uterus, known as endometrium. known as endometrium. So when the pregnancy will occur, so the function of the progesterone, which one? Progesterone will be to prepare this lining. How it prepares it, we'll be learning about that later on detail. So that is the function of progesterone and estrogen. If this happens to be any question or doubt, please let me know. Anyone? Feel free to
No,
ask any
sir.
questions. Okay. Now we are going to learn about the different parts and their functions respectively. Okay. First of all, as we have learned ovary, right after the ovary, this tube-like structure that you're seeing over here, this structure that's surrounding the ovary, that is called as fallopian tubes or oviduct. Okay, now so you can find it on both the sides, on the left side as well as on the right side. So there's a pair of fallopian tube or oviduct. Okay. Also, it's kind of a funnel-shaped structure. If you were to look particularly over here, so it's kind of a funnel-shaped structure. 1 minute, like this. See, isn't it kind of a funnel-shaped structure? Tell me. Compare it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So its function will be to basically catch the ovum that is released by the ovary. Its function will be basically to catch the ovum that is released by the ovary. Okay. But that's not all. It's the site where fertilization will be taking place. So this fallopian tube or oviduct, it's the funnel-shaped structure, okay, which is present on the left and the right, on the superior left and right corner of the uterus. That's the uterus on the far left, and on the far right side, it is present, okay, or we can say at the edge of the ovary. Then this fallopian tube, it's the site of fertilization. It is the site of fertilization. This is where fertilization is going to happen. So what happens to understand that? You guys take a look at this animation, particularly over here. I will play this animation. After that, we'll be discussing about all other parts. Okay, now, and it will be much better to understand then. So in the animation, you will see how the sperm will be moving through the different parts and where the fertilization is going to take place. What happened to this? Hold on. Oh. So that's the sperm moving through the vagina, then through the cervix, and now it has entered into uterus. Now from the uterus, it's moving into the fallopian tube. As it has moved into the fallopian tube, so it will be meeting the ovum that's already present in the fallopian tube. That's the ovum. Okay, now the ovum will select one of the sperm cell. Ovum will select one of the sperm, and it will allow it to enter. So only the head of the sperm is entering here, you see. Only the head will enter, and head contains nucleus now. Now right here, both the nucleus have connected together. It has joined together. Fertilization has taken place. Now you see the cells have multiplied. Now the ovum, which has turned into zygote, is now moving into the uterus, where it will get embedded into the wall of the uterus, and then you see placenta and umbilical cord has developed, and the child is slowly growing. Okay, should I replay this, or is it clear to everyone?
Can you replay?
Okay. Look again, let me point some of the things over here, like that's the vagina, and after that, that's the cervix. This is uterus, and that is the fallopian tube. Okay. We'll be learning about fertilization later on, by the way. Okay, I basically wanted to show you the different parts via animation. Okay. So it's the site of fertilization which I was saying. As the ovum is released by the ovary, say that this is the ovum over here, and the sperm is going over here, and this is where fertilization is going to take place once the sperm enters into the ovum. Okay. After the fallopian tube, this structure that you're seeing here, that is called as uterus. Okay, it's a pear-shaped organ that will basically allow the development of that fertilized egg. What is that fertilized egg we are referring to here? It's basically the
Zygote.
zygote. Very good. So that is zygote. So it will basically allow the development of the zygote. As you have seen in that image, how that fertilized egg was basically getting embedded into its wall. It was getting embedded into its wall. As it will get embedded into its wall, okay, na, then later on we will see the structures like placenta and umbilical cord will develop. So this baby here, okay, now basically once it was a zygote, so it has got connected to the endometrium, to the uterine wall, the wall of the uterus. How? Via the spatial tissues called as placenta and umbilical cord. So it will be getting all the nourishment via placenta and then via the umbilical cord. Whatever waste material is produced, it will be removed from the body via the umbilical cord and the placenta. Getting it? So uterus is the place where the development of the baby is going to take place. Okay. Any questions? Also, we can see here that the uterus is connected with an opening called as cervix that further connects to the vagina over here. Okay, no? Then next we're going to talk about the vagina. It's a muscular tube-like structure that is connected with the cervix here. That's the cervix here. Okay, this right over here. That's the vagina. It's a muscular tube-like structure. Okay, and it will be acting as the receptor of the penis. Okay, no? So as the penis will be releasing the sperms into this, the sperm will further travel via the cervix into the uterus and then will go into the fallopian tube where the fertilization takes place. And it also allows the delivery of the fetus during the birth of the child. So via the vagina, basically the birth of the child takes place. So these were the important points. Answer these two questions quickly.
Ovary.
Everyone have to answer.
Yes, sir.
That
Yes,
is ovary. Good. What is the main function of the fallopian tube? Here, Priyanka, that's correct.
to transport eggs from the ovary to the uterus.
From the ovary to the uterus.
Exactly. Okay. What happens in the uterus during pregnancy? In the uterus.
The fertilized egg implants and grows into a fetus.
Very good. So basically in this, the fertilized egg will grow, okay, and will later on develop into a fetus. The lower, narrower part of the uterus that opens into the vagina. That opens into the vagina. What do we call that?
A fallopian tube.
What? Read the question again carefully. Look at this. Hold on.
Cervix.
The lower part of the uterus starts opening into the vagina.
Oh,
That is the lower part, and that is cervix. This is where fallopian tube is. Fallopian tube is basically connected to the ovary. Okay, no?
Okay.
Getting it now. So that is cervix. Next, Brinker, what have you answered? Correct.
Scrotum.
Oh, we have it. That is scrotum, obviously, no? Okay, what does scrotum contain? What does it hold?
Testis.
Testicles.
Good. Now, other than these structures, now which these main structures, there's two more very important structures. Okay, now which is not initially present in the female reproductive organ, but it particularly forms in the uterus during pregnancy. Okay, now during pregnancy. So as you have seen those seen in that animation, that when the fertilized egg, that is zygote, is embedded into this wall now, is embedded into the wall now. So thereby what will be happening? Thereby what will happen? A spatial structure will develop. As this zygote, which grows on further, converts into embryo, and as it is embedding, so how is it going to get connected with the lining of the uterus, with this endometrium? There must be some spatial tissues now, right? Now there must be some spatial tissues that will connect the embryo with the endometrium, with the uterus. So there's a structure called as placenta that develops here. Okay, and there's a structure called as placenta, and another structure called as umbilical cord that basically connects it. As you guys can see here, the white structure over here, this is basically the umbilical cord. And umbilical cord later it's connected to placenta. You can see that in the another image, this one over here. See, in this one you can see. Okay, now so the baby is connected to the womb of the mother, to the uterus, via the placenta actually, and the placenta is connected to the umbilical cord, that tube-like structure. Is that thing clear? Okay, now the umbilical cord is connecting the baby and the placenta basically. Okay. So what are the functions? Let's understand about that. Okay. Doha, read this paragraph as of now, from here to here only.
And the placenta is a temporary organ that forms the uterus during pregnancy. It plays a critical role in supporting the growing baby, embryo or fetus.
Good. Talking about the function of the placenta, so it's basically a tissue. Okay. It's basically a tissue that will be acting, that will be basically transferring all the necessary requirements to the child from the mother. Okay, no? So it's a very important structure. It's a very important structure. It will be responsible for transferring the nutrients, for delivery of the oxygen to the fetus. It will also help in removal of the waste, right now. So placenta is a spatial tissue that forms during pregnancy. It acts as an important link. It acts as an important link between the child and the mother. Okay, between the fetus. Right now, we should be calling it as fetus, by the way. Between the fetus and the mother, it's responsible for important functions like providing nutrient to the child. Right now, delivering oxygen to the child. Right now, delivering oxygen to the child, and then removal of waste that is produced in the body of the child. So that is the important function of it. Okay. Second thing is the umbilical cord. So umbilical cord is basically, it's like what is it doing? So it's basically transporting these things. It's transporting the nutrients from placenta to the child. It's transporting the nutrients from the placenta to the child. It's transporting oxygen from placenta to the child. And whatever waste is being produced in the body of the child, it's going from the child to the placenta via the umbilical cord. Okay, now? And this placenta is basically connected to the blood vessels. Okay, now? So the waste is directly going into the blood of the female parent, female mother over here. Okay. So its function would be basically it acts as we can say it acts as a connecting link helps in transport of nutrients, oxygen and waste between fetus and the mother. Okay, hope that has been clear to everyone. And right after the birth, this umbilical cord is cut. Okay, right? Since the child needs to be separated from the mother, right? So this umbilical cord is basically cut. Okay. Right now, look at this question. Match the parts of female reproductive system with their correct functions. Okay. What about the ovary? What does it do?
Produces eggs and hormones.
And hormones. Good. Okay, can you just name the hormones produced by the ovary? What are those two hormones?
Estrogen.
Estrogen. And next one is?
Progesterone.
Anyone? You're saying it correctly, but there's something missing in that. It's progesterone. Okay,
yeah, progesterone, yeah.
Progesterone. So these are the two important hormones. Okay. What was the function of estrogen?
For secondary sexual characters.
Exactly. Development of secondary sexual characteristics in the females. Then plays an important role during menstrual cycle. Okay, now menstrual cycle. And then what about the progesterone? Yeah, it is particularly produced during pregnancy, and it prepares the uterus for the development of the child. It basically thickens the internal lining of the uterus. This internal lining of the uterus, right now it is not thick. Okay, na? But once the pregnancy occurs, then what will be happening? There will be a development of an extra tissue over it. Okay, na? The blood supply in this will increase. Its thickness will increase like this. Getting it? So how is this going to happen? With the help of the hormone? Which one?
Progesterone.
Progesterone. I hope that is clear to everyone. Okay, now later on you will get to know in menstruation that when the fertilization of the egg does not occurs, what will happen? All this thick lining, all this thick tissue, the blood, all of that will come out in the form of blood by the vagina. We'll be learning about that in menstruation. So progesterone, its main function is to prepare uterus for pregnancy. Okay, yeah, next, uterus. Yeah, Mustafa, Abu Bakr, yes, Priyanka and Aman. Priyanka, you answer question number B. I'm going to appoint it. You guys are not willing to answer, huh? Question number B, that's for you, Priyanka. Question number C, that's for you, Aman, Mustafa. And question number D, Abu Bakr, you will answer this one. Yeah. Priyanka, what's the answer? Since Priyanka is going to type in the chat box now, so Mustafa was you can answer question number B.
Site of fetus development.
Site of fetus development. Very good. Yeah, fallopian tube. Abu Bakr.
Sir, second one.
Oh, sorry. This one is for you. Cervix actually. This one you will answer, Abu Bakr.
Sir, connects uterus to.
Connects uterus to vagina. Good. Yes, Aman, you there in the class? Okay. Anyone else would like to answer this?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Yeah, so answer it. Fallopian tube.
Sir, for this, sir,
Obviously, only one of the
the
option is
passage
left.
for egg to travel.
So passage for egg to travel. So that is option number 2.
Sir, I was just reading the books, sir, with the class, sir, because I left so many classes, sir. I wanted to catch up.
Okay, okay. Try to stay regular in the class, no? Okay, see. Now, further, the thing is that when the females hit puberty, when they have reached the age of puberty, okay, so their reproductive organ, that is the ovary, it starts the production of mature egg cells every month. So it indicates the ability of the, it's basically indicates the ability to reproduce. It indicates the ability to reproduce. So this process is called as menstrual cycle. In this, what happens, the ovaries produces only one egg every month that will be traveling from the fallopian tube and all the way to the uterus. If pregnancy were to occur, so thereby what will happen, the ovum, it will get fertilized, and then later on it will embed itself into the wall of the endometrium. But if the egg is not fertilized, then the lining of the uterus here, this thick lining of the uterus that has developed here, it is going to shed, it's going to break. So the uterus will shed its lining and the egg will also die, and this will result in the bleeding in the females. And on an average, the duration of this menstrual cycle is about 28 days. That is of about 28 days. So this cycle starts at puberty around the age of sometimes 10, 11, or 12, and it will last until the age of 45 to 55. Getting it now? By the age of 45 to 50 or sometimes 55, this cycle will stop in females. Okay, now? You guys getting what I have said just?
Yes, sir.
Any questions from anyone?
Sir, I have one question.
Tell me. Yes.
Sir, so basically, sir, there's two ovaries, right?
Yeah, there are two ovaries.
Sir, so egg is formed in any.
Repeat again what you said.
Sir, so then the egg is formed in only one of them.
Or either one of them. Either this one can form, either this one can form. But both of them are capable. Okay, now? Both of them are capable of producing the sperms. I mean to say ovum. So either this one can release, either this one can release. Okay, now?
Sir, so what if, so like the sperm, so like in the video, the sperm went through both of the sides.
No, it's not possible that it will be going through both the sides. Okay, na? It will only be going through that side where it will be going only towards that fallopian tube in which the egg is present. Getting it
Sir,
now?
so then how would the sperm know?
Actually, there are chemical signals acting between them. Okay, and the process is quite complex, but at the same time fascinating as well. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Also, earlier it was believed that the best sperm would be basically able to fertilize the ovum. It said that the most healthy sperm, earlier what was believed that the most healthy sperm, like millions and millions of sperm cells are there now. Out of that, only one of them fertilizes with the ovum. So earlier it was said, which was incorrect though. Earlier it was said that the healthiest sperm cells fertilizes with it, but that's not the case. It's different. Actually, it's the ovum which decides which sperm will enter inside it. It's actually the ovum which makes the choice, which picks the sperm. Getting what I'm saying? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Also, there's a very interesting phenomena which I'll be telling you in the later class in detail. I will show you some animations. Okay, where what happens when the fertilization takes place now at a very small microscopic level, some lightning is produced, some amount of light is produced. Okay, that's a very important thing we have recently discovered. Why some in some research it has been discovered. Okay, so about the menstruation, let me write it down. So when the girl hits puberty, the ovaries starts the release of mature ovum once in a month. So once in a month, okay, after they have reached the puberty. Also, in this entire menstrual cycle, basically, what is going to happen? It's going to prepare the female body for pregnancy, right now. So it is preparing the female body for pregnancy, where the lining of the uterus is called as endometrium, by the way. So it thickens, it's thickening right now. So what next happens? The lining of the uterus, that is simply called as endometrium, thickens to receive the fertilized egg. Thickens to receive the fertilized egg. Okay. But what if the fertilization has not taken place? If the fertilization has not taken place, so thereby the egg is going to die, the uterus will shed its lining. Okay, now. So that is the thing. So if the egg is not fertilized, then the uterus sheds its lining, sheds its lining. By the way, this lining here is having rich blood supply in it. Rich blood, there's a rich blood supply in it. Getting it now? Then tissues have developed in it. Tissues have developed in that um, thick lining over here. Okay, now tissues have developed in it. So when we say that uterus is shedding its line, it means that those tissues are dying. The blood vessels that have developed here, that is breaking. Getting it now? So thereby this lining is being shed. It means that the tissues that were formed here, it's breaking away right now, and then it will basically lead to bleeding in the females, and the egg will also die. Then the uterus shed its lining, the egg dies and leads to bleeding in the female. Leads to bleeding in female. So that is simply called as menstruals. That is simply menstruation. The bleeding of all of this is simply called as menstruation, and this menstruation is particularly part of the menstrual cycle. Okay, now menstruation is part of the menstrual cycle. Getting it? So this cycle will be particularly lasting for this cycle last for 28 days. Okay, now this menstrual cycle lasts for how many? For 28 days. But it can range from 21 to 35 days. The cycle is usually about 28 days long, but it can range from 21 to 35. 28, usually it's not a fixed number. So it can, but it can range from 21 to 35 days, and it repeats every month. It repeats every month. Okay. Any questions so far?
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So how are twins formed?
How?
Like how are twins made? Like how are twins made? Because like you said that
Oh, how are twins born?
yes, yeah, how are twins born? Sometimes triplets also.
Yeah, sometimes triplets are also born. You see, basically, twins are born when there'll be fertilization of two separate egg cells, or if the fertilized egg were to split into two halves. If suppose, if suppose, sometime two egg cells were released at the same time. Usually, at a time, only one ovum is released. Now, only one egg cell is released. But sometimes, suppose if two ovums have been released and both of them got fertilized, right now, both of them got fertilized, so thereby that can result. So it can be due to fertilization of two separate eggs, or it could be simply due to the splitting of the fertilized egg if it were to split into two. So that is how twins are born. Okay, now is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, now so if two eggs are released during the same menstrual cycle, by the way, do not think that menstrual cycle is only about the bleeding, only about menstruation. It's a complete cycle of 28 days that repeats every month, and it has different stages in it. Like in the first 5 days, okay, now the cycle will start when bleeding will happen because the lining of the uterus is breaks down and flows out through the vagina. Then there'll be another phase at the same time. What's happening? Like the ovary is preparing an egg, lining of the uterus is becoming thicker. It starts building up again to get ready if the fertilization were to take place to catch the fertilized egg. And around the middle of that cycle, if the egg is released from the ovary, that is basically called as ovulation. Getting it? Then later on, suppose if the egg travels through the fallopian tube to it, and if it, again fertilization does not happen, the uterus line will break down again, and it will lead to the next period, will lead to next menstruation. So it's a complete cycle. Okay, there are different phases of the menstrual cycle here. Okay, no?
Yes, sir.
So this cycle lasts for 28 days, but it can range from 21 to 35 days. Another important thing about it is that, hold on, why is it not working? So when the first menstruation happens in the female child, it is called as menarche. What do we call that? Menarche. Okay, no? Please pardon me for this. Hold on. First menstruation occurs at the puberty when they have hit the age of puberty around the age of 10, 11, or 12. So that first menstruation is called as menarche. Second will be the last menstruation. So last menstruation means that when the female have hit the age of like 45 to 55, so at this last menstruation, like basically menstruation has stopped, so that is called as menopause. These are two very important terms. Make sure you memorize these things as well. Okay, now so that is menarche and menopause. Okay, so when menopause has happened now, it means that the ovary is no longer producing the ovum now, it's no longer releasing the ovum. That's why menstruation has stopped now. So after the age of 45 to 55, the woman can no longer bear child. They are not able to bear the child right now. So their reproductive cycle has ended when they're in the age of 50, 55, 48, 49, like that. But that's not the case in the male. Through their lifespan, they are reproductively capable. Getting it now? Even if they have reached the age of 80, 90, even 100, 110, that's rare to find. But even at that age, the testis still produces the sperms in them. Okay. I hope all of it is clear, right? So around the age of 11 to 12 years, menarche is starting. And from 12 to 50, the menstruation happens in them. Getting it now? So through the entire age between 12 to 50, menstruation is happening, and the man by the age of 45, 50, till they are dead, when menopause happens in them. Okay. Any questions?
Sir, you said
Yes.
this process happens every month, right?
Yeah, it happens every month.
So basically, this process happens their whole life.
Yeah, till the age of 50, we can say. Till the age of 45, 46, 48, 49. It varies from female to female. In some, it will stop by the age of 49, for 45, some 50, some 54, 55, like that. Around 50 years. Getting it now? Getting it.
Yes, sir.
Also menstruation leads to so many problems in the female child, particularly females. Okay, now this menstruation, it can lead to so many problems. Okay, like what problems can it lead to? uh, in everyday task, it can lead to some problems, right? Sometimes it can lead to some physical emotional problems as well, right? Now it can affect the normal bodily functions. Getting it? So sometimes they can suffer from cramps. Okay, abdomen cramps, bloating, fatigue, etc. So there are some physical symptoms that the female have to go through this. Getting it? Sometimes even they can suffer from headache. There could be acne, etc. Also, there are some emotional symptoms also because of menstruation, like there could be mood swings, anxiety, irritability. Okay, no, they can have trouble sleeping, etc. Okay, so thereby one needs to cope up with it. Okay. Okay, let's do these questions. So question here is, menstruation stops permanently after menopause. Is that true or false?
True.
That is obviously true now. Pause means stopping. The menstrual cycle occurs only in females after puberty.
True.
Okay, what about others? That
True.
is true indeed.
That's
Hmm.
true.
Yeah, so it typically lasts for how many days?
28 days.
28,
28
21 to
days.
35 days.
On an average, I'm seeing 28 days
Oh,
on an average. Okay, no? The shedding of the uterine line during menstruation occurs through that bleeding basically is occurring through the vagina, right? Getting it? The shedding, all of that is coming out through the vagina. Okay, this topic we'll be discussing in the next class. Okay, now. Also in this animation, you can look here how the sperm cells is moving over here, and how here you are having that is the ovum. Okay, now. Later on, we'll be learning about few other things also. Like right now, you can clearly see that zygote is a single cell structure. And at this stage, you can clearly say fertilization has taken place right now, because the number of cells have now started to change. Double, then 4, then 8, 16, and like that. So if you were to look at it closely, it will look like this, a ball of cells like this. If you look more clearly, inside this, you will see like this. Okay, now. And in biology, different names are given to different stages of the cells. Okay, now, like at this stage, there are 32 cells in it. Getting it? When the embryo has 32 cells in it, it is called as blastocyst. So it has different terms also, which is not much important, but you'll be learning about that in higher classes. So later on, it will basically embed itself into the wall of the uterus. Then its size will grow. Okay. So there are some topics left in the chapter. We'll be learning about fertilization. After fertilization,